What's going on, guys? Zach here, undergroundstrength.tv, coming to you with another Q&A. I love doing the Q&A stuff because it's super important to me to be hooking you guys up with the information you want, not the shit rambling through my head. So this morning I sent out an email about being open-minded, dropping the ego, and being flexible in your training, because as you change, as you evolve, your training must evolve. And what that means is, if I look back on my teenage years, it was more bodybuilding training. That's the only information I had. Then as I got into my late teens, 19, 20, I started getting into this thing where I wanted brute strength, and I started learning more about a more effective training that could carry over to my wrestling, carry over to my grappling. I started doing things like more farmer walks, more jumping, throwing of objects, pushing my truck, dumbbell clean and press. I mean, these are things that I wasn't doing, and I'm talking, this is like 1995. So if you're thinking that stuff is common now, that's because the information is out there. Now I find I am 40, but every 3 to 5 years, I feel like the body is going through a different change. You get injured, you have lifestyle changes, so all these things come into play, and you've got to be flexible enough to change your training. So what I like to do for myself as well as for my athletes is, if I feel like I'm losing a little bit of that athleticism, I get away a little bit from the basic barbell lifts, start using more sandbags, more kettlebells, a lot more bodyweight training, circuit work. I'm going to start incorporating Indian clubs and maces into my training to open up the body. It also gives you an emotional break from the intensity and the psych required of approaching the bar over and over and over again. And from a sport perspective, I learned a long time ago that our guys, it's like there's been so many guys that have come to my gym able to bench or squat or deadlift more than our athletes. Then our athletes beat them on the track, beat them on the football field, beat them on the baseball field, on the wrestling mat. And I started learning that it's not just about the numbers. That doesn't downplay the need to get strong as all hell. You got to get strong, but don't downplay the numbers and think, oh, it's no big deal. I could always pump out 135 pounds on the bar. You've always got to progress, but I find that you can't just keep climbing the mountain. You've got to kind of go up, take a little bit of a down, go up, take a little bit of a downward phase. So this question comes from Tommy, and he said, how do you gauge when to make those changes for your programming? Is the rationale to just give your body a rest, or also to hit those secondary movements and muscles to add variety into the programming? Thanks for all your content. Between you and Julian Pinot, I get nothing but knowledge bombs dropped in my face. Thank you, from Tommy. Julian, that guy's awesome. We have a lot of the same mindsets about utilizing odd objects to develop that unique kind of strength, and that's really a big thing with me. Some people love just sticking to the barbell. Those are going to be the powerlifters. They're going to be the weightlifters, or just people having a real simple setup. So in my garage, I've got a barbell, a set of gymnastic rings. I'm getting some kettlebells and fat bells mixed in there. And I'm even thinking about, getting some form of a sandbag, or maybe getting one of those 100-pound sand balls, because those exercises develop a unique kind of strength. So yes, it gives your body a break, not just the physical, but like I said before, the emotional. So I want you to think about that. The whole key is, can we keep this going long term? And that's why I love doing the changes. From my perspective of training athletes, they get bored quickly, so they need the variety. So you're tricking them. So they're box squatting, then they're front squatting, then they're sandbag squatting, then they're doing double kettlebell squats. At the end of the day, they're squatting, and they're building different kinds of strength, different kinds of mobility, having a different, transfer of training that goes to their sport from each of those different exercise variations. So open up your mind. Don't be afraid to change. It will make you better if the training is smart and it's blended. That's science and tough training. That's it, guys. Check the links below. Lots of free resources for you. And if you want my kick-ass Strong Life newsletter, go to zachevnesh.com, click on the newsletter banner or the Start Here tab, and you will get that info. Peace, guys.